Fish has become a staple in the Filipino diet because of the supply that can be harvested from the vast waters that surround the country. And like most natural resources, it should be preserved and developed for the benefit of the population. Back in 1998, Republic Act No. 8850, widely known as the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998, was passed. Its main purpose is to allot resources for the development, management, and conservation of fisheries and other aquatic resources of the country. This law was crafted to limit access of the fishery and other marine resources to the exclusive use of Filipinos. It also ensures the development as well as the preservation of the fishes and those that dwell within it. RA 8850 was also created to protect the rights of fisherfolk, such as their advantage in the country's municipal waters where they can exercise the maximum sustainable yield, the maximum level where a natural resource can be routinely exploited without a long-term depletion. With the abundance of aquatic resources, there is also room for exploitation of these assets. Such abusive practices involve fishing using harmful chemicals or dynamite, and bottom trawling, which is usually exercised by commercial fishers since they disrupt the seafloor to catch fish. To prevent these atrocities, Republic Act No. 10654, an act to prevent, deter, and eliminate illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, was ratified in 2014 to amend the preceding Fisheries Code of 1998. RA 10654 was created to prevent illegal fishing and enact penalties accordingly. Salient features of Republic Act No. 10654 amending Republic Act No. 8850. 1. Introduces the concepts of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Unreported, unregulated fishing are new offenses. 2. Address high seas fishing and fishing in other coastal states by Philippine flag fishing vessels. 3. Emphasize compliance with Convention to conserve and manage marine resources such as the United Nations Conventions on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS, ecosystem-based approach precautionary principle. 4. Increases fines and adopts aggregation of penalties in a wide array of accompanying administrative penalties for serious violations to ensure sanctions are dissuasive and have deterrent effect. 5. Adopts an automatic escalation clause in the amount of fines to address inflation and maintain deterrent effect. 6. Empower the Department to ensure effective enforcement of regulatory measures, notice of violations, cease and desist orders, ejectment, and impoundment. 7. Provides a new chapter on administrative adjudication in order to promptly and effectively deprive offenders to economic benefits derived from the IUUF and empowers the Department to recognize the adjudication committee and to issue to notice of violations. Empowers DAB4 to prosecute administrative and criminal offenses regardless of where the offense took place. 9. Introduces concept of community service for municipal fisherfolk offenders. 10. Adopts broad measures on port strait, flag state, vessel monitoring measures, observation program, catch documentation, and market-related resources. 11. Adopts international and regional conservation measures and empowers the department to enforce the same in the Philippine waters, including archipelagic waters. The amended Fisheries Code of the Philippines is meant to help the industry grow even further in a sustainable manner by deterring and eliminating illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing practices. The government is securing livelihood for all fishery stakeholders as well as adequate food supply and continuous economic growth for the entire nations and future generation. Furthermore, the law is also after the protection of the marine resources that provides livelihood and food for millions of Filipinos. The law also provides for penalties enough to deter IUUF activities and prevent offenders from repeating the same violations. Lastly, the sanctions stated in the amendments aim to hit only those who are willingly, intentionally, and willfully violating the law, and never those who abide by it. The Visayan Sea is located at the center of the Philippines, and it is a major source of food, income, and livelihood for 22 municipalities in the 4 provinces surrounding it. It is well known for sardines, herrings, and mackerels, which contributes 10 to 13% of the national fish production. The sharp decline of 24% in the catch volume of sardines and mackerels from 600,000 metric tons in 2010 to 472,000 metric tons in 2011 triggered the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources to strictly implement the closed season for sardines, mackerels, and herrings in portions of Visayan Sea and adjoining waters. Fishing season policy started in 1939 when the national government, through the Fish and Game Administrative Order No. 13, established a closed season for sardines, herrings, and mackerels from November 15 to March 15 each year in the Visayan Sea. This was enforced in the waters between Bantayan Island, Cebu, Northern Negros, Gigantes Island in Iloilo, and Colasi Point in Capiz. Fish and Game Administrative Order No. 13 was further amended in 1946 through Fisheries Administrative Order No. 13-1. In 1989 through Fisheries Administrative Order 167, and in 1990 through Fisheries Administrative Order No. 167-1. However, it was only in 2012 that the 4-month closed season was seriously implemented. Later in 2013, the closed season in the Visayan Sea was shortened to 3 months, starting from November 15 to February 15 each year to BFAR's Fisheries Administrative Order No. 167-3. The closed season prohibits the catching of sardines such as tuloy, tonsoy, lawlaw, tabagak, tamban, and lerian, herrings such as halubaybay, lapad tamban, lison, and lapa, tamban tonsoy, and lahul-hahul, tulis, balinchong, and hilos-hilos, and also mackerels such as hasa-hasa, alumahan, and bulaw. Kamusta inyo kita?
Ito lang. Guro makakabakaran lang guro pagka. Pero tsakto-tsakto na lang. Hindi man like sa atin. Kung ginapay lang siya. Mes Visayas din, talaga na din sa ato. Ako na sa mga pick ko. Kaya kung mag-close da, yung taas na sa ang coastal isla, kapital niya.
Through its Fisheries Protection and Law Enforcement Group, the DABFAR continues to harmonize its efforts in implementing Visayan Sea closed fishing season, involving different instrumentalities including municipal, provincial, and national law enforcement teams. To further strengthen the implementation of the policy, the Bureau has established various field sit stations and floating assets, as well as conducted land-based and seaborne patrol operations, market and landing denial operations, informations, education and communication activities, port-size boarding and inspection operations, and monitoring and surveillance operations through VIIRS. Issues with the policy. Fisheries Administrative Order FAO 167-3 failed to include the goals and objectives pertaining to the natural resources, to economics, and social or cultural aspects, which are important elements of policy. Issues in implementation and enforcement. Implementation of the closed fishing season is highly fragmented. There is a wide variation in the implementation of the policy between and among 23 cities and municipalities independently managing their own territorial waters, and a bee farm